and welcome to Stargeekz. We are your hostess with the mostest. My name is Sean.
And I am Ed, and don't be fooled.
No, I couldn't hear that. That was a little low, but I couldn't hear that one. But no worries. Ed, what's going on? Happy Star Wars Wednesday.
Always Star Wars Wednesday. I was thinking as we are getting ready to start, I know I've been watching, obviously, your regular show for a long time. And on occasion, when it's just you and sometimes Steve, that you guys refer to it as your salt and pepper show.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, when it's just the two of us, Zombie.
What's up, Zombie?
If it's just the two of us doing Star Wars, is this the Han and Lando show?
That's a good one. I actually like that. Yeah. Two scoundrels. Yeah, I like that. I can dig that. You need a Lando sound effect. Well, hello there.
Hello, what have we here?
There you go. So yeah, man. How was your week, man?
Everything's good. I mean, it's kind of quiet. It's been quiet in the Star Wars realm as of late.
I agree.
There's not a whole lot. I mean, I know we'll go through what little news there was, but it's just kind of quiet. It's strange. We've been so busy with so many things for so long that when we get these in between moments, it just feels off.
Does it feel like the dark times? No,
I don't. That was crazy. Thinking back to those days between Jedi and Phantom Menace, when there was no glimmer of anything on the future. I mean, we have things to look forward to, at least.
Yeah, that's true. We do. Well, what you got? I got one thing to talk about. I did pick up a statue, which is small, but it's cool.
What'd you get?
Oh, well, I guess I can talk about it now. Might as well, right?
Sure.
I did. I picked up this gentle giant, and really, again, surprised myself. I forgot I had a pre-order. And it went through, and I was like, oh man, I forgot I had that. And I didn't cancel it. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I didn't cancel it because it's a very nice piece. Speaking of Lando Calrissian.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, the sculpt is actually pretty good. Sorry about that, Zombie. Yeah, overall, love the base. The base is very like heavy. It's heavy as hell. It's a really good piece, actually. I'm actually very happy to have it. So yeah, I was very anxious. I was like, oh shit, like I don't have any Lando pieces at all. So for me, kind of dope. Like, so kind of glad I grabbed it. I have a piece to actually match him coming in this week, actually. But I can't talk about it, but we'll see it in the background at times. But
yeah. Now see Lando, Billy D, fantastic character. He pulls off a cape so well.
I know, doesn't he?
Dude,
the cape, even the cape, the gold cape on the inside,
yeah.
Like, they made him so smooth.
Well, I don't know how you could make him anything but that. I mean,
yeah, I know, right?
I think everybody wants to grow up and become Billy D.
Yeah. So yeah, man. So that's all I got. It's from Gentle Giant. Thought it was a good piece. I was like, oh man, I need that. So I'm glad I got it. I'm glad the pre-order still went through. I forgot all about it, but I'm glad I got it.
I'm just wondering, at what point are you gonna need a bigger display area, because you have cool shit every time. And so I like how you shift so we get various views of all the stuff you have, but at some point you're going to run out of space.
At some point I'm not going to be. I know. I actually really know that. I'm not going to be able to get anything else. I'm out of space now. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm out of space now. I am literally out of space right now. Like, I got to literally get rid of shit. I'm throwing shit away all the time, dumping shit, putting shit somewhere else in the house. My garage is full to the brim of boxes. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, I gotta. It's bad. It's real bad, man. It's real bad. So I got to figure something out at some point. But like, I think I'm getting close. I'm getting close to being done. I just need a couple more pieces, man, and I'll be complete. I say that, but I think I will be.
Well,
Hoping.
you could truly be complete because people will keep making cool things.
Yeah, but you know what? I can say I'm done with helmets. I'm done with blasters because I got all of them. I'm happy with those. Not really collecting lightsabers anymore, so that's out of the window. Um, it's like ships, maybe a ship here or there. I don't really need all the ships, and like I don't need no prequel things. Like I'm fine with that. No sequel stuff. I'm fine with that. Just original trilogy stuff. You know, and that's really all my collection is like literally original trilogy. Like there's no no like prequel stuff, maybe an Anakin, but that's about it. I got an Obi-Wan. But that's really it. So like for me, I'm glad I have all original trilogy stuff. So I'm happy about that. Like and I can say I can tap out because again, how much original trilogy shit is there, there's only
So,
three movies. So
do you think you'll reach a point as your collection kind of grows and evolves that, like, when you talk about your lightsabers and your helmets, that you'll look at those and go, all right, let me sell these off because they're not something that I'm into now, and maybe replace them with something else as it changes? Do you think you'll reach that point?
No, I'm happy with the helmets that I have. I don't think there's any other helmets that I really want. I'm gonna be honest. Like, there's
Yeah.
no other helmet that I can be like, oh yeah, I want this helmet. Maybe a Cody if Hasbro did one. Like, I'm not going off collecting like the EFX stuff, like, because that's too expensive, and I don't feel like going down that rabbit hole. It's too late. Like, they've already been doing this stuff for a while. I don't want to go back in and grab, replica stuff. I'm fine with the Hasbro, so I think they do a really good job with that. And I'm fine. I'm not really a big helmet guy anyway, so more statues. And statue wise, I'm pretty complete with all the original trilogy. I would like a bigger Lando statue if they came out with one. I have a Captain Rex on order, and I did get the Mace Windu statue. But from there on, what other character can I get? Like, I don't want a Padme. I don't want to. Like, what am I gonna do with that? Yeah. There's no other
Oh.
characters that I'm like, oh shit, I need this creature or this creature. No, not really. Like, there's some Regal Robot stuff that I really do like, and I would love to get that, but I think that's a little out of my price range going forward, so I don't think I'm gonna be able to kinda touch on that level. So, I'm okay with that, you know?
Well,
You
I
know?
think Zombie says if you're purging, you can, as he says, throw some shit his way.
I mean, I would love to. If I could, I'd toss some shit your way, but, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm good. Like, I think I'm happy. I'm very happy. You've been down here.
Oh
It's
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's it.
Although for the show purposes, we do like when you order shit and you forget, and then it just shows up.
I
It's
know,
exciting. It's
right?
exciting for all of us.
Yeah, yo, mind you, we did the League of Geeks. We did the Geeks for like almost, I think, like 15 years at this point. And like literally, I have collected so much shit in my time. And like
Oh, I know. I've seen it come and go.
it's come at this whole section at one time was all Batman. It was all
Batman.
Batman.
You had a very impressive Transformers
I did.
section.
Got
So,
rid of
oh
all
yeah.
of it, and now it's like I can't collect anything else. Like this, I told Lil and Steel, like, this is my end game. Like this has to be my end game. I can't go any further. I can't. I can't. Star Wars is my bread and butter. So, you know, since day one, talking to you about Star Wars, I should have knew that I should have just ended with Star Wars.
That's all right. It's a fun journey for all of us.
It is. It's a good journey, though. It's a good journey. So, yeah. What you got in news, man?
Well, it's been a lot of talk, and we built it up, and I've played it a bit. Dooku's right. It's disappointing.
Really?
Yeah, it feels good, but and I don't. I guess I should have known, because just looking at the games that Ubisoft has put out in the past,
Mhm.
They're enjoyable, but at least for me and my style of gameplay and the games that I kind of hold up as like my favorite games of all times, especially open world, kind of goes to GTA and basically Bethesda Fallout, which Fallout, Red Dead, love those games. While I do enjoy Outlaws, it is, and I mentioned it last week, it is beautiful. It looks Star Wars, it kind of feels Star Wars. As a gameplay, it's just not it I don't wake up in the morning and go, "Oh my god, I gotta get 4 hours of gameplay in." I'm like, "Yeah, if I get to it, great. If not," which is it's disappointing.
Really?
I really wanted this to be something that I just wanted to play every day, all day for a month, and it's not.
What?
Yeah, it just uh, I'm not even that far into it, and even some of the things that I've read and I've seen, it just becomes too repetitive.
Really?
And so, I mean, I'll keep playing it because I haven't even gotten into space yet, and maybe that will reach a point to where I'll be like, okay, it's turned a corner. But right now, I feel like it's just I'm just grinding through just for the sake of doing it.
Really?
And
Are
yeah,
you I mean, you're like a week in on this game and you haven't even
yeah, no, it just hasn't had that hook for me, and it was interesting. And as I put on there, Ubisoft is paying the price literally because the sales for this are so weak that their stock is taking a beating.
holy
So
shit.
yes, it is. It's disappointing. It almost reminds me of and it feels like we have the same conversation with so much in the Star Wars universe these last couple years to where it has such great potential and it just
Mhm.
falls flat. I mean, and we can say that with Acolyte. I mean, it had great potential and it had moments, but the overall delivery is just like, so
Could this a game would have been better if it was multiplayer or Grand
well,
Theft Auto like?
without question. I mean, that's again for me. If you'd have given me this platform on a Bethesda gameplay,
Mhm.
oh, I would be itching to get off the show right now to play
Oh, wow.
because that's and for me it's those very interactive games where you can kind of touch and feel everything and it is truly open world to where you can go anywhere and do anything and while it is open world and I mentioned it last week it just feels like it's got guardrails like it's like
Mm,
okay yeah it's open world but only within these parameters so
mm.
yeah
Damn.
I don't know like I said I'm going to keep
Again, I
playing it
haven't
if
even
if it
started playing yet, so I'm not even now you don't even make me, like, excited to play it. I'm just like, "Eh."
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna keep going. I'm hoping it something clicks because like for me when I played The Witcher, Wild Hunt, the first time I played it, it was a little tedious. It felt like I couldn't just grasp it and I had to get out of it for a bit. And
Mhm.
then I let it sit for a few months. And then when I went back in, different mindset, and I played it all the way through and enjoyed it. But I don't know. We'll see what happens with this. So,
Hmm.
yep.
Okay.
Was excited to hear that season 2 of Ahsoka will be starting filming soon. Sabine Wren, actress, was at Dragon Con and kind of dropped a hint that they're filming the Mandalorian Grogu movie right now. And that I think from a filming perspective, that as soon as they wrap that, they're going to start right on this one. So
Oh, hmm,
it's
interesting.
exciting because again, it's more content that we can look forward to. And
Well, that goes to tell me that, Ahsoka isn't gonna die in Mandalorian and Grogu or so, okay, that's
yeah,
what it tells me.
So there really wasn't much else in the news, and as I was kind of alluding to you before, I get all kinds of information. I mean, I'm always reading Star Wars articles all day, every day, and
Mhm.
most of it's kind of the same thing. Every once in a while, something is kind of interesting, and I'm like, "How about that?" So, Screen Rant put out a list, and this was I don't know 3 4
I'm gonna
days
switch over
ago.
I'm gonna walk over to my desk because I'm getting uncomfortable where I'm at. But I'm listening, go ahead.
They listed out what they said were the 10 best Disney Star Wars characters, and they listed in there the 5 worst. Now,
Mhm.
I was a little thrown off by kind of the ranking that they gave, but I just thought it was an interesting as I walked through it, and I wanted to kind of get your take on it. And as I was saying, it's unfortunate that it is just the two of us because the more opinions, the better. So I guess they ranked them starting from bottom, and you kind of build up to it. So they had at number 15 Din Djarin,
Okay.
14 Cassian Andor, number 13 as the worst Snoke, then Ezra Bridger and Master Saul. So I agree that Snoke is not a very good character. I was never a big fan of his, but I don't think I would
The
put
worst is Snoke? What?
They have him as one of the worst characters.
Jar Jar Binks is in there somewhere, right?
Well, no, that was pre-Disney.
Okay.
This is in the Disney era.
Okay.
So I think that, at least my opinion, Din Djarin and Cassian Andor would be much closer to the top of this list than down at the bottom.
I agree.
I mean, I could see Master Saul. I thought he was a good character. I don't know if he would make a top 10, but and while it was nice to see Ezra Bridger in live action, I know he's not making my top 10.
No, not not live action. Shit. Animated, yeah, but live action, no.
Yeah. I mean, they do have some animated characters in here, and that actually is. And they actually have him as one of their worst. So then they go to number 10.
They got Jack Black's character on there. Do you even count him as a character? He was like in one episode. God.
No, but they are right, because while I think I don't focus on that character because I blocked him out of my mind. When I see this, I'm like, oh, that was so bad. So now Hera, that's where, if we're talking about the animated Hera, absolutely fantastic character.
I like the live action Hera too.
I don't know. I don't think she came across
Hera
and delivered. Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't do anything for me.
I think Poe Dameron should be like one of the worst characters.
I mean, Poe's not bad. I don't think he's making my list on best or worst. He's just a character. He's not on the good list. He's not on a bad list, but I mean, Grogu, fantastic character. I mean, he doesn't really say much, but still.
He doesn't do shit. Yeah.
No.
He's a good puppet. He's a good Jim Henson puppet-esque.
The number 5, as far as close to the top for being the worst, I don't even know how Haja, but the Estri from Obi-Wan, horrible, so painful. Now they put them all together as top of the list for best. Clone Force 99, absolutely. As a group, they are fantastic. Then you've got Jyn Erso, which is very good for the Disney era, but again, I don't think she's coming in at number 3.
See, I'm looking at this. This list is weird because it's like it's his worst.
Yeah, I agree. I don't understand how they put it together. I mean, the mods are definitely some of the worst characters in Star Wars. We complain about that all the damn time. Those slow ass Vespas.
Yeah, they could have been so much cooler.
And then Balin Skull, which, it's unfortunate. You could give me a ton more of that character because he's fantastic. So now I went through, because after seeing this, I'm like, okay, who are we missing or not? So I went and just pulled a bunch of characters that came to mind for me from within that Disney era. Cobb Vanth, loved Timothy Oliphant in Star Wars.
Okay.
Fennec Shan, the Armorer, Grief Karga, IG-11,
great.
Yang, Thrawn,
great.
Bo-Katan. Luthen would definitely be in my top 10.
Great, yeah, agreed.
Moff Gideon,
great.
Queel,
great.
Morgan Elsbeth. Yeah, I mean, but again, just compared to some of the ones that made their list, Deirdre, Reva. I mean, we know that Vanestra would be on a lot of our worst list. Didn't exactly, wasn't in a ton, but seeing a live action Cad Bane,
I liked Cad Bane. I thought it was cool.
I love Cad Bane. And then the same thing. I have them together because they're kind of the same character, but the Osha May.
How do you feel about those characters? Did you not like them though?
I think the characters weren't bad and had potential. I think that, and again, I don't know if it's the writing or the directing or the acting, but the delivery of the character was questionable at times.
She tried, I get like I mean, I'm pretty sure at this point you've seen her letter and what she said on her Instagram and all that. And it sucks, man, because I know she loves Star Wars. That's the
Of
worst
course.
part about it. She loves Star Wars, and to be like
Yeah.
thrown to the wolves by Star Wars and to something that she loves. I think that fucking sucks because I think the fans, again, I didn't like Acolyte. It wasn't great, but give her fucking credit because she loves fucking Star Wars, dude. Like,
Yeah.
don't take that away from her. When you see her, man, you listen, you give her some love, man. Like, she tried her hardest. She didn't make the shit. Like, she didn't write
No.
it. She did none of this stuff. So, when you see her out and give her some love, man. Don't disrespect her because, like, she tried just as much as any fucking nerd out there who was in a fucking Star Wars show would have did the same exact goddamn thing. So I don't want to hear anybody shit behind that. Just give her flowers, man. Like, she tried her best, but don't shit on her. Don't be like, oh man, you suck. This, whatever. Nah. She don't that young black girl don't deserve that.
No. And if it wasn't your thing and you didn't like it at all, then that's fine. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Keep your toxicity online if you have to put it anywhere. Don't go up to these people in person.
Yeah.
It's just uncalled for.
Yeah. Keep that energy where you at. But like, for real, just give her flowers, man. Like, she tried.
Yeah.
Shit. I'm pretty sure if she wanted to write her own Star Wars shit, I mean, she probably would have wrote something a little bit better. She probably would have did something a little bit different. But
I'm sure everybody can do that. And let's face it, at the end of the day, whether you liked it or didn't like it, whether you're happy it's not getting a season 2, and even in the news, nothing is ever set in stone. The bottom line and the most likely reason why it's not, at least as of right now, getting a season 2 is money. It's costs money. It cost so much the way that it was produced, and it didn't get them the results in viewership that they wanted as a return on their investment.
But the crazy part, well, the merch didn't sell. That's probably what the real reason was. Like, the merch didn't sell, just the whole aesthetic didn't sell. Now, if they would have changed the showrunner for season 2, I would probably say it probably would have been better. Let's be honest. Like, the showrunner probably would have changed up a lot of shit. Like, let's keep it 100.
Right. So, I mean, and again, there's some good elements in that story that can be built on. If you want to come back and go, all right, well, let's take the best parts of it.
Mm-hmm. No, Zombie said, not thrown to the wolves by Star Wars. I get it, but thrown to the wolves by yeah. Well, yeah. It's a double
6-1. Yeah. 6-1, half dozen of the other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you could get somebody who could take the better elements from that, put it in a different wrapping, call it something different, give it a different name. Mm-hmm. And again, if you can give us something that's even slightly better and on a better budget, I'm sure Disney would be like, all right, I'm interested.
Yeah. Zombie, I agree. You got boring characters, them figures will not sell at all. And that's where you start losing money. Like, the merch wasn't going to sell because nobody liked the show. So, like, you was never going to sell anything from that. And that was the worst part.
And I don't know. I mean, like I said, you are by far the bigger collector than I am these days. But what does sell these days in any of this? Like, if we go through any of those shows, what is selling and what's not selling?
I mean, Mandalorian sold. Like, the Mandalorian sold through the roof. Like, merch for the Mandalorian was crazy. Everybody had a Mandalorian t-shirt. Everybody had Grogu little puppets. Everybody bought all the like the statues. everything from Mandalorian, that shit sold. Even season 1, season 2, season 3, like yo, the helmet sold, Bo-Katan's helmet sold, like a lot of merch sold from Mandalorian. Yeah. So like they sold the hell out of that shit. Like, let's be honest. Book of Boba Fett, they sold some stuff. They sold some stuff.
Well,
Because it was
Boba Fett by himself sells.
Yeah, so I think that was probably a thing. I don't understand why we haven't gotten season 2 of Boba Fett, to be honest. You know?
Well,
I don't know. Tomorrow Morrison ain't getting too much younger, man. You better get him while you can.
Well, as we've said it before on here, is that I think one of the issues with the Mandalorian, you got to put his helmet back on. I know Tamora Morrison wants to be the star now, but that is what makes the Mandalorian as a show, at least in my opinion, better. It has that mystery, and let's face it, the actor for Mandalorian, drawing a blank, Mr. Fantastic.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal.
Yes. I mean, he's loving this because he gets to be the star in a show that he's actually not in.
Yeah. Zombie, you're right. You're totally right. Like, it was a good Star Wars show, and it's still, and it keeps repeating itself every season. So, like, again, Ahsoka's good. Ahsoka sells. I would assume Ahsoka sells because everybody loves Ahsoka. So, it wasn't a great show by like it was a Mandalorian level, but it was good. It was really good. So, I mean, I know it sold merch, tons of merch. So, it just all depends on what it is. Now, my curiosity comes when Skeleton Crew comes out. I'm very curious on how that will sell merch because there's some cool characters in there. There's some great characters in there. There's some really things that they can really play off of. But that story has to be good. If that story's not good, you ain't going to sell nothing.
No, well, that's with anything. But it'll be interesting to see how that Goonies vibe fits in Star Wars. It looks cool. It feels interesting to us, which, I mean, anything you throw out Star Wars, we're always interested out of the gate.
Agreed.
But I mean, it in concept, it's good. We're gonna have to see how it works in application.
Yeah.
So yep.
All right, yeah, we chopped it up for like 30 minutes and talking about random stuff.
Oh yeah. And I know we since we went over Phantom Menace 2 weeks ago and Attack of the Clones, we know we're up for Revenge of the Sith, but our colleagues were unable to join us and they really want to be here for that. So I figured it was a good opportunity to go back and look at the deleted scenes.
Oh shit, man. I meant to talk to you about a video I seen, but we'll talk about it in a couple weeks because I want to bring that back up. But it was something really good. It was somebody redid the animated cartoon, the old animated cartoon Star Wars, and they redid it like Dark of the Jedi or some shit. Like, it was really odd. I was like, oh, this is really cool.
What cartoon?
Somebody just made it. It was just a random, like, how the old Star Wars cartoons were, like the
droids and Ewoks.
Yeah. It was it was like the Star Wars special stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
somebody had remade it, and it was like Luke Skywalker as like with like a dark cloak. It was kind of cool. It was on YouTube, but I forgot to fucking send it to you. But I'll send it to you after the show. We'll talk about it.
Oh yeah, no, I'd be interested to see that because I'm always looking for something that I've never seen before.
Yeah, it was cool. So I'm trying to bring it up now. I'm not gonna play it, but like it was. I can't find it. I gotta find it now. Once I find it, we'll talk about it next week. Anyway, sorry. Okay.
So, it's interesting to walk through some of these because I know non-Star Wars, when you look at like the Zack Snyder cut of what the heck was it? The one that was like 3 hours long that he just recently did for one of the Superman, Batman. I don't even remember which one it was, but he did his director cut. And I know a lot of people were like, oh, it's so much better. And I'm like, when you put everything, take it off the cutting room floor and add it in, sometimes it does make the story better. And I wonder with a few of these things if it would have made it better, or they made the right call in cutting it. This was a very short one. I just thought it was interesting how after Anakin goes into the droid control ship, blows it up, and they make the comment, "Look, it's one of our own." And then they land, and it's the rest of the pilots having a conversation like, "Well, we're all here. Who did that?" The cockpit opens up. Anakin just leans out and kind of looks at him with his hair all disheveled and is like, "I'm not in trouble, am I?" But
Yeah, no, I see that one. I was
yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I was like, eh.
it's super short, but given the tone of Phantom Menace, I could see leaving that in there because it was very kid-like, that whole movie.
Yeah, I can see that.
The next one, yeah, this one definitely needed to get cut.
I like that one. I like that Greedo scuffle. I was like, oh, I kind of like that. That's kind of cool.
It was an interesting tie-in to the original trilogy, to where, I mean, we don't understand. They don't show us what happened prior to,
Right.
but you just see the two of them rolling around in the dirt, kind of throwing a few shots. Qui-Gon comes over, chases the kids away, who were just kind of like we all did back in the day, standing around cheering them on. And he asks Anakin, he's like, "What's this about?" And he's like, "He accused me of cheating." And he looks at Greedo and is like, "Do you think he cheated? He cheated?" And he goes, "Yeah." Qui-Gon has some great advice. He's like, "Look, you can't change his opinion, but it's not worth fighting over." And they separate. And then just before the scene ends, and I don't remember the name of the character that the other what's the Rodian, the little kid
I
version
don't know
that's
his name either.
played by Warwick Davis. He just kind of looks over and he's like, "Greedo, you better just stop, because one of these days it's gonna be the end of you," which I guess is just foreshadowing for what we see in A New Hope. But it was cute, but I could see why they wouldn't put that in. It made no sense.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense, but I thought it was cool though. I was like, oh, I like that. I never even looked at these behind the scenes ones. I never realized it. So it's cool.
They apparently had an opportunity where they were going to introduce us to Bail Organa in this movie, where they are the ones who second the motion for the vote of no confidence in Chancellor Valorum. But this was before Jimmy Smits was in the mix, so I think it's better for all of us that they just left this one on the floor.
Yeah, thank God, because the Princess Leia figure in the background was weird. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, well, I guess that would be, I don't know if it's just another dignitary or if that's Princess Leia's adopted mother.
Other maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm glad he took it out.
Yeah. I had always heard about this scene even before they gave us the deleted scenes, and I was always wondering why they cut this out. So you get the point to where Qui-Gon tells Anakin to drop as Darth Maul rolls up on the speeder, jumps off. The two of them start fighting.
Mm-hmm.
The ship starts to fly away, and they tell him to fly low. Qui-Gon jumps up on the ramp, and then as the ship flies away in the cut that we've all seen, you see Darth Maul kind of get up out of the dirt and turn off his lightsaber. Now, it makes no sense. Why is he getting up off the ground? In the deleted scene, Qui-Gon jumps up on the ramp. Darth Maul jumps after him. The two of them continue fighting on the ramp, and then Qui-Gon kicks him off. And that's when they fly away. I think this would have been good to leave in.
Yeah, it was kind of cool when I watched. I was like, oh, that kind of worked. Like, I didn't, because Qui-Gon came back on, he was like all tired and shit. And I was just like, oh, well, that would have actually made sense more because he was so tired. But
absolutely.
Yeah. I like that. I actually like that scene.
This was cool, but I know why they cut it. It was way too long.
Yeah.
As they just went through and introduced every single one of the pod race pilots.
Yeah, that was pointless.
So, I mean, yeah, again, cool and great to see as a deleted scene, but my God, that would have just added another 10, 15 minutes into the movie that we just didn't need. So, some of this I liked and think it would have been good to maybe cut other parts of the pod race So this was the whole second lap, and
wish
it
a little
really,
scene.
yeah, you get to see Sebulba he's got so many gadgets built into his pod racer to take out everybody. And it was kind of cool to see.
Yeah.
So,
Go.
oh yeah. There's an extended version of when Qui-Gon's trying to convince Watto to let both Anakin and his mother go. And I can see why they cut it. It's just a long, drawn out version, and basically Watto the entire time is just like, no, no pod's worth two slaves. How about this one?
Yep.
No, and it's just back and forth. So they made the right call in editing it down to what we see in the final cut of the movie.
Agreed.
This made absolutely no sense.
Yeah, I
It's just the final scene when they shut down the droids that they just get a communication going, oh, look, the droids are shut off. And he pushes the one over. And then she turns around and talks to the viceroy. So, yeah, totally wasted scene. Well worth cutting and leaving out.
Go sit down. Dog.
This was another scene. Yeah, I'm glad they cut this out. This made no sense.
Yeah.
Turn off the Unabongo and then have the engines as you're about to drift over that huge waterfall.
Yeah. They could have cut this whole scene, period.
Yeah. I mean, they really did, because basically once they finish going through the planet core, they surface, the top pops open, and then it cuts to when them actually in the city. So
Yeah.
Yep, this was definitely the right call. And then this was the stupidest thing in the
That
world.
was so stupid.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't think, or some dumb shit. I was like,
yeah, like, okay. I'm glad this is as far as that went, because I complained about Attack of the Clones with all the corny lines that 3PO has. I mean, at least it's C3PO delivering them.
yeah,
This
was garbage.
it's like, oh yeah, I'm glad that one ended. So that was everything from Phantom Menace, which, like I said, a couple things wouldn't have been bad, but for the most part, yeah. I know
I really like the deleted scenes in this better, way better. And they have like a long little documentary, which I really liked, about sound.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm always fascinated with the sound effects and how they do it. I mean,
I agree. Yeah.
Ben Burtt, he's a freaking genius.
Yeah.
I remember when the original trilogy, when they first started to give us some, I mean, and again, they didn't do this with movies before, and they
No.
show him out in the desert with the tension cables on a telephone pole as he's just tapping it with a wrench to get that blaster sound. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that was cool. I like that. I was like, oh man, that's just random sounds. You never would realize, like, just random sounds outside they use for Star Wars and movies and all kind of shit. Like, that's really cool. What somebody say? Said, what I heard is Star Wars Outlaw takes 15 plus hours to get good. I believe it too.
Yeah, I've got to. I think I might have 5 more hours to go then before I reach the good part. I'll press through. I'll try to get us there. Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Pew, pew.
But
hello, how are you? I don't know who your name is, but thank you, Victor.
I don't. How do you think to, like, let me go out in the middle of the desert and just bring a wrench and start hitting objects for sound effects? Like,
yo, right? It's crazy, man. Like, just using water. He's like,
yeah,
like random shit. Like, okay.
so
It takes a lot to do that.
I think the part that I enjoyed watching, and I think would be cool to see in person, and I forget what they call them, but it was that department that does the sounds, kind of like old school radio, where they just have a sound studio and various items that they use to make sound effects to fit what you see. It's so cool. Like, they had, and then even when they show the troopers marching, they just put on certain shoes on a certain floor and actually march. I mean, that's
cool.
just cool. So
that's cool.
yes, enjoyable stuff. There was a lot of this
Oh, this
with
was boring as shit. Like I was like, oh no, not watching that. And then
yeah,
there was a part where he surrounded him around. He was just like looking around him, like that's weird. It was so
yeah,
weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, yeah, I can see filming it, but it was definitely something that was worth getting cut.
Yeah.
Uh, I can see why this was cut. It does give a little bit more context to with the reason why she really pressed him to go to his mother. Like she was the one who encouraged him to like, hey, let's go. If you're feeling that way, I'm
Yeah.
fine with going to her.
It was a dumb scene.
It was dumb.
I was like, oof. This is
Yeah.
terrible.
This was interesting. What did you think of this? Where
Well,
when they
I actually like this part. I actually like
yeah.
this scene. I don't know why they took it out. Didn't keep it in.
Yeah, I mean it's not very long.
No,
It's just
it's not.
basically right after they're captured, they're brought before Count Dooku, and I guess it's just Poggle the Lesser,
Right.
and she makes the official request for Obi-Wan. He tells her, like, look, we'll consider it if Naboo joins the Separatists.
What you could have took out was that whole damn picnic scene. You could have took all that shit out of there.
Oh yeah, I mean you could have cut that in half and given us this.
Agreed.
So this was just another addition to the speeder chase. I mean, it's interesting. I'd almost want to see them complete this and then see the entire piece to see was this worth keeping and were some of the things that we were given better
Right.
off removed. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell because it is a long scene.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it. It was okay. It
Yeah.
didn't change how I viewed anything. It was just like, oh, okay. All right, that's cool. Like, I liked it, I did like because when I was watching the behind the scenes, the documentary part, George Lucas was like during this scene, he was like, oh, well, maybe you should add some of the guys that you've seen from like episode 1 in here, and you've seen some of the characters and now. Like I
Yeah.
thought that was cool. So I thought that worked. I didn't mind it. I actually liked this scene, so it didn't really bother me in either way anyway. So
Yeah, no, like I said, I'd just be curious what works better, but overall, it was fun.
mm-hmm.
This scene, I mean, it makes more sense when you see this and then followed up with his conversation with Dex.
Yeah.
My only issue, and this goes to something that I've said before, to where, I get it. You have these new technologies, you have new ideas, you want to kind of broaden the horizon. Like we've seen lots of droids in Star Wars,
Right.
and yet they keep making new versions, and some of them just make no sense and just for me don't feel like Star Wars. And these droids don't feel like Star Wars.
So my question to you here, and this is a question that a lot of people say, what feels like Star Wars to me? Like, is because Coruscant is clean and this and that. Like, there's so many different droids out there. I mean, are we used to the rusty, dusty robots? Like, I don't know what feels like Star Wars. Like, I'm the original trilogies are the original trilogies. I get it. Like, but I don't know what feels like Star Wars sometimes. I'm kind of like, well, the Emperor and everybody on the Empire and the Death Star were clean. There were no dirty. None of those characters were dirty. They were all clean. So when we look at droids and look at like monsters and stuff like that, then aliens that are on the planets, they're dusty, they're dirty. They some of them look dirty, but then there's some that do look clean. So like, I don't know what. So explain that to me because I'm curious because I'm like it's been brought up so many times it doesn't feel like Star Wars. What feels like Star Wars? That's what
So
I don't understand.
it's good. Your answer is going to depend on who you're asking, because again, with me and my age, I grew up with the original trilogy. So that is for me the benchmark. That's where Star Wars kind of starts for everything. So if we're looking at the lived in feel, that can vary depending on where you're at. So, when you're in the outer rim, and now you're talking about planets and systems that are far removed. It's the West in the 1800s. So it's going to feel a little worn down and used because they don't have the best technology. Everything's kind of secondhand. So that's the used lived in feel. I can see where this is the Jedi Temple, so it's going to always feel new and clean. And it's
Right.
not so much the clean, but when I look at droids, I'm looking at C3PO and R2 to start with. Then I'm going to look at all of the droids, whether they're in working or disrepair. Look at everything in the background on a sandcrawler. Look at what we see going forward.
But on a sandcrawler, all those robots are dead or like pieces and parts, and
Right,
like they
but
look like shit. Like, but then you go to Coruscant, which is a whole different planet that is not in the original trilogies, and everything is clean and like this and
well,
that. And
I
I
think
think Coruscant was amazing. Like, I thought that design
no,
was
I agree. And some parts of Coruscant will feel clean, other parts won't. Now, but for me, is even though those droids on the sandcrawler are
it is
all,
Johnny Five though, yeah.
oh yeah, well, and maybe that's part of it. Maybe when I look at this and that's a great call. Is maybe I'm seeing Johnny Five and it takes me out of universe because I've
That
already seen that somewhere. It
I
already
agree with you on
exists.
that. Yeah, I agree with you on that. That does look like Johnny Five. It does take you out. It's like now that I look at it, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't like that.
No. And actually now that we're trying to draw comparisons, the other thing too is what was it, Rob the Robot that came with the original Nintendo?
Mm-hmm.
Looks
Oh
like
shit.
that too. So again, you're putting it with things to where if you took some of those droids on the sandcrawler and make them new and shiny,
Yeah,
but put them in this, now when I look at them and go, hey, I've seen that before, but this is the new working version.
I agree.
So it's going to feel like Star Wars that I'm accustomed to. And again, I'm not saying that they can't develop new things, but especially this one where you have that one. So you get the big giant eyes and the one single little, well, it's almost like this, like my mic, just the one little comes down with moving lips. Seriously? What is the point? We have C3PO who basically has a hole and we can hear him talk. I don't need moving lips on a droid.
Agreed.
They serve no purpose. So
No, I
little
agree.
things like that. It just
I,
takes me out.
I agree.
So all right. I liked the conversation between Obi-Wan and Mace Windu.
Yeah, that was a cool conversation, but like Mace Windu didn't. I didn't like his response.
What
Like,
to let?
yeah. I'm like, huh? I'm like, okay.
Well, I kind of like that because you get this whole thing with Obi-Wan's like, oh, he's not ready, he's arrogant, and Mace Windu's like, look, if he's the chosen one, and plus, you have to trust him to make the right decision. I'm like,
well, that backfired.
right, but that's what you would expect. So if you look at them in tiers, you've got Mace Windu is the master, Obi-Wan is the new teacher. So he's the principal, Obi-Wan's the new teacher, Anakin's the student. He basically has to tell his teacher, like, look, at some point you have to trust your students to do the right thing with their homework. You can't hold their hand all the time.
Agreed. Yeah.
And so it was interesting to hear Mace Windu because let's face it, in most things with him, he's always kind of the rough and tumble Jedi. Yeah. He's for anger not being a Jedi emotion, man, he throws it out there.
Yeah,
he's always angry,
especially in the animated shit.
Oh yes. I can say the only good part about this entire scene is the cutaway midriff on Padme. Other than that, yeah,
pointless.
So glad it ended up getting cut.
Cutaway midriff, crazy. This was all over the place, man.
Oh my god,
this was all over the place. I was just like, I don't even know what's going on right now. Robot cut, this cut, that cut, this cut.
Well, I think for them as storytellers, they're just trying to fit because they didn't do the work behind it. So they have the actors doing it and they're throwing in little things just to kind of
Yeah.
get a feel for the flow. It makes you wonder. I mean, the whole thing with Coyote Mundi going off to turn off the droids, that we didn't need that. So I'm glad that got removed. But I'm wondering if we would have been better off with a little bit more of the Jedi fighting on Geonosis. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. I would have liked that a little bit more.
Yeah. I mean,
I
I'm
mean,
still
I would
glad that
like
we
more,
did.
I would have liked more fucking clones fighting, to be honest. Like they didn't really do a lot of fighting. We seen a lot of CGI and all this, but we ain't see like the clones fighting. I really feel like at this point, we probably should have got a live action Clone Wars kind of movie. You know,
Yeah. I mean,
it could still be done.
it could definitely be done. I mean, shoot, you want to go and give me another series like Mandalorian? And you're basically going to say, all right, well, here's the opportunity. You know, we have the Clone Wars, the animation, and there's so much storytelling that can be done within that. You know, you could pick some of the good stuff, tell some new stories, but give me that in a 10 episode season and then give me a few seasons of the Clone Wars live action. Yes, please.
Yeah, I'll take it. Like, I mean, you gotta just kind of adjust your eyes to the Clone Wars, and like, you gotta look at, Hayden Christensen as a little younger, and Obi-Wan is a little younger. Like, you gotta kind of take that illusion and kind of run with it. But young Ahsoka would be dope. And then, like, I don't know how they would do Captain Rex, just maybe just helmet, no face. I don't know. They would have to figure that out. But
yeah, I mean, yeah, just keep
yeah.
his helmet on and then get who does the voice for animation? Is that Corey Burton?
Oh man,
No,
damn, I have his name.
D. Bradley Baker.
D. Bradley Baker, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, you could just have him do the voices for the live action.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
yeah. To be honest, I agree.
So, I kind of like this. A little bit of explanation as far as the mindset of Count Dooku. And it makes it to where what the librarian Jocasta Nu isn't such like a bitch. When she tells him, "Oh, if it's not here, then it doesn't exist." Like, whoa,
that's somebody's grandma.
yeah, but man, just go a little easier here. She's a little bitter in the Jedi ways.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, this kind of ties into what was the other animated short that we got, where we got to see a young Dooku and Qui-Gon. I thought that was good because again, that kind of gave a little bit of story.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how the animation has made these movies so much better.
Oh my God. So much better. So much better. Jesus. So much better. That's it.
No, yeah, but it was nice to go back and look at them. I like
cool.
I like
Actually,
peeking behind the curtain.
I never watched them until you told me to watch them. I was like, oh shit, I never even know these existed.
Yeah.
So that was fun. I really appreciate that because I'm glad I got a chance to see that because I would have never looked at those, to be honest. I forgot all about them.
Before I went to those, one of the things I was looking for, because you and I have seen the Obi-Wan Patterson cut and have commented how good that is when you've taken that show and kind of redone it. And of course, he added some scenes that weren't in there, so it made it even better. I was actually looking for some fan edits of the prequels, and there's a few out there. I mean, but they're rough. I mean, real rough.
Really?
We need somebody with a little more skill, like the Patterson cut, to kind of go back through. I mean, the one that I looked at, they basically cut out 90% of Phantom Menace, which not necessarily a bad thing.
Are you going to watch the Patterson cut Ahsoka cut?
Oh, I'm going to watch anything he puts out. I'm going to watch because, especially after what we got with that first one,
yeah,
it's worth the time.
Yeah, I gotta download it. Like, I gotta figure out how to download it because there's like so many different ways to download. It's weird. I'm like,
yeah. Has there been an update as to when that'll be ready? I know he said it might be
It's available
soon.
now.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
All right. So much for playing Outcast tonight. I know what I'm gonna look to do.
Yeah. I didn't even, you know what? I realized you're right. I should probably watch that as well.
Yeah, I didn't think it was out yet. I thought we still had a little bit of time. I knew he said it was coming soon, but
Yeah,
I
I'm downloading
saw.
it right now.
Ooh, I'm excited. Does it say how long it is when it's all spliced together? I don't know if he
No,
has that.
I didn't even look at the credits on that. I don't even know, to be honest.
I don't know if he has in the description the time because I think
Yeah,
what did
I downloaded the 4 GB one because there's like an 11 GB one and a fucking 7 GB. I was like, you know what? I don't need all that. I just want to watch it. I don't care about all that.
yeah, I mean we've already seen it, so I don't need to see it in high def.
Yeah.
It's more just to see kind of the flow and how it works and
Yeah.
then of course I'll want to go back and watch the behind the scenes to say, hey, you know, what did he add to it?
So we get to review that. So to me, Star Wars is sword and sorcery in space. I agree.
Absolutely.
That is a good point. I appreciate that. Yeah, that is really a good point.
Yeah.
So we'll probably review the Patterson cut when we get a chance, you know, after
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, no, I know. So next week we'll have the rest of the crew back with us, and we can do Revenge of the Sith.
Yep.
And then we'll look at the calendar and see what kind of time we have before Skeleton Crew, and I'm sure we can definitely get in that Patterson cut of Ahsoka after that. I'm so looking forward to that now.
Yeah, so am I. I think I'll be watching
very excited.
All right, Ed. So I guess that is our Wednesday, and
yes,
just the nick of time too. It's actually almost 10 o'clock, so we did an hour show,
which we almost never do. So
yeah, we always go over, so which is great. But hey, man, if you enjoy the show, like, subscribe. Make sure you check us out every Wednesday at 9. We're here to talk about nothing but Star Wars.
Although we have considered going outside of the Star Wars, and
we may
like
talk about Star Trek. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm really sitting on that one. I think we might have to go down that road at some point. So I'm definitely I'm on board for that. So we'll see how this plays out. But yeah, man, this is
I was gonna say, and for any of you who watch, if you've got suggestions for things that are out there, because I mean we're always looking for new and interesting things that we haven't seen. So if any of you've seen anything, man, throw it out to us because I
need to start getting some guests on the show. There's some guys out there that probably might want to jump on with us, maybe, and talk some Star Wars stuff. We'll see if I can get them on. You know, we might have to start reaching out to some people out there in the Star Wars universe and start kind of talking to them. We'll see what happens, though. You know, it's a long year, so we'll see what happens. But wait, what did Zombie say? Star Trek. I mean, I know, right? I'm sorry. Yeah, you know, hey, I mean, we're trying to stay within the Star Wars realm, but there's not a lot of Star Wars shit out there, so we might have to dip out a little bit.
That, and as we've discussed before, you know, when you give us like Below Decks, it's good Star Trek.
Oh, the Lower Decks? Oh, Lower Decks.
Lower Decks.
So
good.
Listen, I'm a Star Trek fan. I ain't gonna. So it is what it is. But listen, Ed. Till next time.
Absolutely,
man. This is Sean,
and this is Ed.
And may the Force be with you
always.